many people believe lastborns have it so easy. They're given everything. We're babied when the rest are pushed to grow up, perhaps. And I can see that. But like, you see, I feel like that's an issue. I feel I'd also want to talk to parents who have older children to be very intentional in caring for each one individually, because they're still babies. Because the lastborns get the heat. Like, we actually get the heat because our older siblings are there in the trauma looking at this kid who came and is being given this life.
Life is messy, beautiful, complicated. We juggle family, work, love, and its expectations, but sometimes we just need to talk about it out loud. This is that space, a place to laugh at the chaos, honor the challenges, and celebrate the wins, both big and small, where stories are shared, hearts are open, and no one is pretending. Authenticity is welcome here. So pour your tea and join me, because there's a space and a seat here for every version of you. This is Conversations with Kũî. Hello, and welcome back to Conversations with Kũî, a safe space for hard truths and radical vulnerability where we talk about the lives that we're actually living. I'm your host, Dr. Kũî Mũraya, and today's episode is especially close to my heart because I get to have a conversation with two young, brilliant women from my own family, my two nieces, Wambui and Nikki, and I'll give them an opportunity to introduce themselves in a minute. But this conversation is essentially about exploring things to do with womanhood, love, life, and everything in between across generations, and seeing what is different, what is similar, what can we learn from each other, what shared wisdom can we give each other. I'm in my early 40s, actually very quickly approaching my mid-40s now. I'm the OG of, well, not the OG, but my birth year was the first year of the millennial, so I'm an early millennial. Wambui here is in her late 20s. Nikki is in her early 20s. So we've got a good kind of spread or variation of across generations. Two Gen Zs, early Gen Z, late Gen Z, and a millennial, an early millennial for that matter. So my dear listener, today you can expect a very light-hearted, playful conversation between Auntie and her nieces. We hope there'll be lots of learning for you who's listening to us. We hope there'll be lots of wisdom that's shared. And yeah, we look forward to a great conversation. But before we get into it, I'll ask both of my guests to introduce themselves. Maybe I'll start with Wambui and then we'll come to Nikki. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Wambui Kimari. I'm Auntie Kũî's niece. As you've heard, I'm in my late 20s, actually the beginning of Gen Zs. I'm an artist. Actually, it's where I found myself, studying it. Then now I'm studying psychology. I think art took me to psychology. I'm also an entrepreneur. I have two businesses currently, one in woodwork and another in cleaning. So honestly, I'm just a liver of life. I like to just live life. And I think I've grown to love it so much, especially from when I started to find myself and exist more. So I'm just happy to be here and to see what I learn, what I will even come through me, because sometimes I find myself saying things I didn't even understand prior. Yeah. So I'm open and I'm looking forward to it all. So thank you for having me.
No, thank you guys for honoring the invitation. And you, yes, you are a liver of life.
Yeah.
And shameless plug, she has brilliant woodwork business. Like, I know she's my niece and you might think I'm biased, but they do very good woodwork. So shameless plug for that. Nikki.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I'm Nikki. I'm 23, prime Gen Z. I think I'm like the mid Gen Zs, entering my mid-20s soon. I just moved back from Amsterdam. So just readjusting. I went to study media and culture and I'm back trying to figure things out. I think this is the time for me to really figure it out. So just thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here. And I think you are right. This is the time to be figuring things out. I think sometimes we give ourselves too much pressure, like we have to have everything figured out. But the truth is, you're in the right time of your life to be figuring things out, you know?
Yep.
So I'm going to start us off. We'll get to the juicy bits of love and relationships and all that in a bit. But let's start gently. Let's ease our audience into the conversation with some gentle talk on, let's start with family. Because coincidentally, all three of us come from a family of 3 children, but we are placed differently in terms of our birth order. So Wambui, you're the last born in a family of 3. You've got an older sister and older brother.
Yeah.
Nikki, you're the firstborn girl. And then you've got 2 twin brothers. And then I'm a middle child. So I've got an elder sister and a younger brother. I'll start with you, Nikki, because I'm interested in hearing what it's like for you being a firstborn in as a Gen Z. I want to hear if that mirrors the stereotypes that I hear about firstborns in my generation.
I think there's a lot of similarities. For one, you're the responsible one. You're the example. You should lead by example. You're also the test child. So your parents are just learning parenting when it comes to you.
Yeah.
So I think I noticed a lot of differences with the way my brothers and I grew up. But again, I have brothers. So being a firstborn daughter in an African household, still, I think the stereotype is still kind of true.
Yeah.
When it comes to, clean the dishes from time to time, especially Christmas.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say it's very different from other generations just because we're still in a very African-centered household. Yeah. So I wouldn't really create a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you still feel, despite being a Gen Z firstborn, it was still... You have to be the responsible, slightly parentified, if you like.
Yeah.
You have to be the responsible one. You have to show an example to your brothers. You have to take care of your brothers. Okay, that tracks. I mean, I hear that from all firstborns.
Yeah, but I think also just because I have brothers, there was a lot more responsibility on me.
Okay.
Being an only girl, the world is crazy. So there's no one that I could look up to growing up, unless it was my older aunties like you.
Hey.
Yeah. So I think my parents were a little bit harder on me.
Okay.
I think if I was a boy, it would be different because I think they'd have a little bit less restrictions in terms of freedom and what I could do. So, yeah, the responsibility was definitely still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll come to you, Wambui, in a minute, but it's so interesting for me hearing this. Because as an observer from the outside, I always thought or think about your generation these guys have it so good. We were terrorized and, freedoms are restricted and everything. And then I kind of see how you guys move in the world and how you relate with your parents. And I'm these guys have it so good. So it's so interesting for me to hear this.
Yeah. And I think it's also because being the firstborn, I think your parents just emulate what their parents did.
This is true.
The first time.
Yes.
And then maybe they change along the way depending on how I responded, for example.
Yes.
Or parenting courses that developed over time.
Yes.
So I think my brothers were the proper Gen Z, the typical way people think Gen Z are parented.
Yes. You were somewhere in the middle.
I was somewhere in the middle. I feel I was low-key raised like a millennial.
Okay.
So
okay, that makes sense.
That's why I call myself a zillennial.
I like that. We have invented a new word here on Conversations with Kũî, zillennial. I like that. Let's talk about you. So you're the last born.
Yes.
Older sister and older brother than you.
Yeah. Wow. I think many people believe last borns have it so easy. They're given everything. We're babied when the rest are pushed to grow up, perhaps. And I can see that. But I feel that's an issue. I feel I'd also want to talk to parents who have older children to be very intentional in caring for each one individually because they're still babies. Because the last borns get the heat. We actually get the heat because our older siblings are there in the trauma, looking at this kid who came and is being given this life they never got. So we end up, the people that we could have closest to us as our friends, being our siblings, I feel like I easily missed out a bit. But I know my siblings still tried, but I can see the issues that they went through with the idea that I came and, the attention came to me and it went away from them when they were still young. So I think that really puts a lot of pressure on us. Like me, I felt it put a lot of pressure on me as a lastborn, that I started to feel that I have all these emotions I didn't know where to place. If I wanted to go to my sibling, I feel like they already see me as spoiled. So I have grown with a bit of trust issues. I didn't have somebody to really be there to hold me easily. And I would have loved if I had like my elder siblings there the most, but they felt like parents to me. They always felt like they had to take care of me. They have to check, what are you doing? Like, do this, do that, make sure you do it right, because they're afraid they're also going to get the heat if the last one is doing something wrong. So I feel like it's actually not easy on this side. You may have seen that lastborns, I got good education. I went to the nicer schools. I got the newer things, but that's because of time. It just happened to be that our parents also grew by the time I was there and still a baby. So they
had more resources at that time.
They gained more resources. It's not me who basically, I'm still a human, an individual. So I feel as a lastborn, it's emotionally hard. Emotionally, it's really hard, but I still love it because I feel loved easily by like I've had a closer relationship with my parents with ease. I'm the one, the people I used to be pushed, you go tell them, they listen to you. So now that pushed a relationship between me and my parents, and I'm just like, no, actually now I'm like, no, you go speak to them, bond with them. It's important. Don't make me the child. We are all their children. And I also sat with my parents and I even told them, you need to also be intentional with them. They're still your children, to have that connection with them. Me, I'm okay. But my emotions can be dealt with. At least it's like covered when there's this nice experience on this side. I have like a balance. But being a last one, honestly, I'd say it's not easy, but for those ones, it can work. It can really work. If there's a beautiful system set, if parents are very intentional in remembering every child is a baby, I think that can work. And to be intentional in going out on dates with each child, that would be so beautiful. And I mean, the relationship.
Yeah, I hear you, and I show grace to parents because I think also what Nikki was alluding to, I think they're also just learning on the job, right? They're also just trying to figure things out, and sometimes they'll get it wrong, sometimes they'll get it right. But you did say something very important, and I think is very powerful, that parents need to remember that every child is still their child, is still their baby. So and also that every child is different. So it's very difficult when you have a one-size-fits-all parenting for all your children, because they're their own human being, each of them with different needs, different personalities, so on and so forth. But again, it's easy for me to say because I'm not a parent, so I can tell. But I think when you're in the thick of things and you're just trying to make it work, you're trying to make sure your kids are well, they have a good education, they're well fed, they're they're surviving well. Maybe thriving becomes an afterthought. It's like, let's just make sure they survive and survive well. And then the thriving bit is like...
Yeah, I feel like that's what I was thinking. Okay, maybe I'm speaking from the trauma of being a firstborn, but I feel like maybe because your parents are also still creating their own careers, by the time the last ones come around, they have the good side of things. And growing up, I think my parents were so focused on also building their careers that, it was about thriving. We're just trying to get by. And then by the time my brothers came along, it was like, okay,
We can chill.
We can chill.
Things are okay.
Yeah, like we're comfortable now.
Yes, yeah.
And I do think like I relate with the trauma of being like a parentified child. Because I do think it's difficult for us to connect with the younger children. But it's just like two different experiences that we both have to heal from with our parents as well.
Yes.
Like as an adult now, I can say like maybe I want to be more intentional with healing that inner child.
Yes.
But only when my parents see that inner child still hurting. In a way. Yeah.
And maybe it's also about, I like the idea of healing with your parents, but maybe there's also something to be said for healing individually as a person, and then seeing also how you can connect that with like healing with your parents. Right?
True. I think getting to that point of wanting to heal with your parents or even realizing that you need that is coming from a place of you also healing yourself. So I think it's a thing that can happen simultaneously. Like you can work on yourself and then, you know, look at your parents and say, hey, you know what, to progress this further, I think we also could have a little bit more of a conversation and be more intentional with having more of a relationship that is not similar to what we had growing up.
Exactly. I want to latch onto the healing bit because it's a question I was going to ask you guys later. See, we would never have had that language growing up. Like the language of, like these things of healing the inner child, I have known them so much later on in life. Like when I was your age, I would not be using that kind of language. So I do feel there's something about your generation that's very intentional about healing. Let's talk about that. Shall I start with you, then I come with you because you spoke about it first. Then I'll come with you. This, like, who taught you at 23 about healing the inner child? Because at 23, I did not even the language, I did not have it, let alone have the foresight to know there's some trauma in me that I need to heal.
You know what I think it is? I think it's millennials were raised kind of to be more rebellious. So they were the rebels and then they end up healing like later on. So by the time we're seeing them, and most of the time they're like our aunts or our older siblings, we then learn a bit earlier. So we kind of progress a bit faster.
Okay.
In that sense.
Okay. I'll own that we millennials are responsible for you healing, like knowing about healing faster. I don't know if it's the truth, but I will own it.
Because I feel like you guys rebelled. Like your parents would tell you to, you know, do something and you're like, if that's not what I want to do, then I'm going to follow my own path. And
really?
Yeah, and then you guys healed more on your own.
Yeah.
And then just accepted that your parents are who they are.
Yeah.
And then we're like, kind of, I feel like millennials also call Gen Zs a bit sensitive. So
yes, we'll come to those stereotypes in a bit. But that is so interesting.
Yeah.
I would never have seen our generation as the rebels necessarily. It's so interesting to hear that from another generation, that you look at us and like you see us as, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm like an older millennial. I don't know. I mean, I'm a rebel, but that's like more a me thing, right?
Yeah.
But it could be that maybe I need to look at my circle of millennials and see if we do have a rebel streak in us.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of you are also creative. Like you guys started doing the creative thing. Whereas, you know, maybe you were being told, no, corporate or doctor or lawyer. You guys, you guys started with
there's some
I'm going to
validity.
branch out.
Yeah, I like that. There's validity to that. Tell me what you think with healing. Let's talk about healing from your perspective.
From my perspective, I feel, you know, mine goes even as far as, you know, exposure and even race. Because there's videos that I find from like the 80s and even from the 60s, 1940s, white people were in rooms and spaces being taught about healing. They had that accessibility to this knowledge and awareness. It's been there. It's been there from the beginning of time. We've had that awareness, but we were born in a culture, in a nation where it wasn't the route. As a matter of fact, when we was before colonization, we had our ways of existing.
Yep. And of healing.
And healing, existing with healing. That sense of community, we had people who would cater to those kinds of needs. I read this thing about, I don't know, this culture in an African country where if one does a mistake, they all put him in a circle, but remind them of the good that they've done, and to better understand that a mistake, when done, and the key thing is mistakes are done from a pure place. It's how you interact with it that a problem can arise. And many a times when people make mistakes, they're shunned. They're made to feel they're like the worst person in the world. And now we
make them their mistake. You are the mistake, not you made a mistake. You are the mistake.
Bas, exactly. And it was pure. Now once that pureness is taken away, they now trauma starts to unravel. And I feel for us, now that we have technology, like now have access to books, I have access to all these videos.
Yes.
So we became more aware of this language, this idea, and even traveling. Thankfully, we've all managed to travel abroad and to see life in a different culture and a new perspective.
Yeah.
It does something to you. It really pushes you to look within. And I feel for me, that's where that healing came from. That idea, analogy, and actually embodiment of healing came from. And I think Gen Zs, we came in a generation where technology came to be. And so we are now interacting with things of the world.
Yeah.
We can see someone who is in like a country you'd never even heard of existing, sharing a message, and it pushes you to really reason and to try and think.
Yeah.
So I think that expansion for me is where healing comes from, why our generation easily is more woke.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. But I really love that you also brought out the idea of pre-colonization, because I think we forget that. We forget that we come from a place where healing was accessible to us. Our ancestors had their own ways of healing, and not just individual healing, ensuring also communal healing. So I think sometimes it's good if we remember that we have a history. Our history did not start with the colonizer.
Yeah.
We have a history before that was also about healing. Remembrance, I think, it's part of healing. For me, remembrance has very much been part of my healing as well. So, but I love that. Love what you said. I'm very intrigued by the whole thing of millennials are rebels. I'm gonna own that. I do want to start moving us along. But before I do, I feel I would have done a disservice to the middle child.
Yeah.
If I don't say anything about the middle child, woe unto us middle children. I think probably I embodied all the stereotypes of what the middle child is supposed to be. But I personally, I dislike all kinds of stereotypes. I really do. Just the same way, like I would have a problem if someone says, oh, you're like this or like this because you're a woman, or you're like this or like this because you're a black person. I'm like, in the same way, I don't like it if someone says to me, oh, this is the middle child. You're like this or like this because you're a middle child. These are middle child problems. I'm like, no, these are just Kũî problems. Like I just have these problems, But yeah, so I have grown up in some ways, and also because of my personality getting a lot of that. Oh, it's because you're a middle child, because I'm very independent and I'm very rebellious and I'm very headstrong and all these things. And maybe it's true because, like the firstborn, as you're saying, they're the first one and they were loved in a particular way. She might feel she was parentified. I disagree. In my own family, specifically, she might disagree with that. And then, of course, the lastborn, not only was he the last born, he's like the only son. Yeah. And so there might have been a particular way that he was loved. Mm-hmm. And so, I guess there might have been a thing of I kind of just had to navigate life as I did. And maybe that did contribute to the way I am. Yeah. But ultimately, I'm like, who knows, Maybe I am just the way I am. Maybe I would have still been this way even if I was the last born or even if I was the first born. Who knows?
Oh, I like that.
Who knows, right?
A lot, yeah.
So power to us middle children. Let's keep surviving and thriving. We're doing okay. Yeah. I want to move us along. What is one family tradition in our family, the Wainaina family? So for the audience, our patriarch, their great-grandfather, my grandfather, was called Wainaina. The matriarch, their great-grandmother, my grandmother, was called Jerry. or Tabitha. So we very often identify as the Wainaina and Tabitha's family.
Yeah.
So let's think of the Wainaina family, which is the thing that unifies us. What's one family tradition you secretly love and one you'd abolish if you could? Start with you, Nikki.
Christmases. Like
Christmases you love or you want to abolish?
I love.
Okay.
But I wish we had more chances throughout the year to meet up, like as the big collective.
Okay.
Which I get and I understand. Jobs, people have their own lives. Christmas is the best time to meet up.
Yeah.
It probably hasn't been as on for the recent years. But yeah, I think Christmas is the one time we all come together. We either go to Shags or we meet up in Coast or something.
Yeah.
And we can just all like talk about the year and how it's been and catch up.
Okay.
So I really love that. Abolish the fact that we only meet up if it's Christmas or funerals.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like funerals being reunions are the worst thing. So yeah, I would just say to be more intentional about all of us meeting up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. And the reason I really like that is because we have started.
Yeah.
You don't know this because you've been away until recently. So last year, for example, we had a family reunion. It was in April, I think. We actually had it at your house. Your parents hosted us. This year, we're planning it in November.
Yeah, this November.
We're in October. What are we? Yeah, in November anyway of this year, we're planning. And it was, so we, the older generation, myself, your dad is part of that as well. Your dad, we've really been trying to push this thing in response to what you're saying. We cannot only be meeting in funerals and some Christmases.
Yeah.
We need to keep what our patriarch and matriarch showed us was family unity is important. And so we need to be a lot more intentional about meeting at other times in the year. Your dad actually wanted it to be at least twice a year and then maybe plus Christmas. Me, who is the organizer, I was like, no. Easier said than done. And let's start with an annual family reunion. We can take it from there.
You should give us one. Gen Z, we organize one.
100%. I am trying to rope you guys in. So thank you for volunteering yourself. You best believe you will be part of that organizing thing.
Boy and I.
Yes. Both of you.
Because it'll have to
cross
over.
Yes. So at the moment, your siblings have roped them into organizing.
Yeah.
And my plan is that by next year, I want you guys to be taking over. You have the energy to organize 2 reunions. I don't.
True.
I'm just like, I can't even.
We went from 1 to 2.
I was just like, I cannot even. So I love that you've brought that up. We are doing something about it. It is what you've said is very legitimate. We dropped the ball. Somewhere, the older generations, at some point, we dropped the ball in terms of being intentional about family reunions. But we are trying to revive it.
Yeah.
So that's great. What do you love? What would you want to abolish?
Yeah, I'd also say I love, I love that ever since Fafa and Maito, which is our great-grandparents, that we used to all gather.
Yeah.
And I really got to know my family. I really got to be present with them. And that for me was such an important thing. So I felt that depth of family. Like I had Ubuntu with us. So now I guess that went into now the Christmas and all. Because even when it's funerals, we still make time for each other. I feel like I can say you guys. Us guys.
Okay, we guys.
Us guys. Like even just recently when my shosho, now my dad's mom, and also Nikki's dad's mom passed. I was so emotional and I reached acceptance quicker than expected because of how you guys were present, how we're so present for each other. And that's something I love. Like you guys made sure I expressed everything as raw, as real as possible. And you didn't question me. You didn't make me feel like, be strong. Like it was like, no, I'll be your strength, be as weak as you need. And that for me is such a powerful and beautiful thing I love about our family, and I'll carry that with me.
I love that.
Always, yeah. Abolish for me is, I feel people hold a lot inside. Na inatoka saa za sherehe.
Tutani kwa leo hapa. Ni sawa tuanike tu.
I just had flashbacks.
Nikki is like, preach, sister, preach. Me, I just want to say to both the parents, the cousins who will watch this, I did not tell these young women to say anything. This is their own voice. Please don't hold it against me.
It's very true. Honestly, for me, it's really something that, for me, I would want us to change. I want us to have meaningful, honest conversations. Even if somebody is hurt, to be able to express it without having to consume something to make it easier. Because they have the capacity. I feel we hold the capacity, but I understand.
Yeah.
That brings in
different
also
individuals.
generational.
I was about to say.
And that's why we have these reunions, because I told Auntie Kũî, I want us to discuss this in those family reunions.
Yes.
It's a challenge.
Say it to
It's
the
nothing.
Because
Please,
guys,
guys.
your child is asking, not me. Because she did say that to me. She did say to me, Auntie Kũî, I want us to discuss some of these things in the family reunion. And I said, yes, but I said, it has to come from you.
Yeah.
Because if I bring it up, they will think, oh, here comes Kũî again with, her. Like, they'll think it's me who's... And I'm like, no, they need to hear this from their children, you know? Like, not the sibling who's always yapping in our ears about all these things, right? So I love that. I do very much agree with Nikki that there's a generational thing there. And I don't know if we will truly be able to abolish it with my generation upwards.
Yeah.
I think probably you guys will be the shift the family needs. From your generation, you have to make sure moving forward, things are being done differently.
I still feel like millennials, because I think when I think about our family, the part that I feel like is the barrier is the Gen X.
Yeah.
Because I feel like millennials they can, but in their own smaller circle.
Correct. Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
In our own smaller, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much in terms of I'm going to make any big shifts in the family.
Yeah.
But it's more like either in our own small groups or on my own, I will do this, right? So then of course it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah.
But in terms of a shift in the family, maybe we are handing the baton to you guys. We're like, as you said earlier, maybe we're showing you individually and in small groups, we're willing to go through this journey, but we're handing this baton to you because we want you to be that shift we need in the family. Because I do agree with you, it can be quite harmful. Yeah. And it does come out in ways that are not always very healthy.
And it passes on trauma.
And it passes on trauma. So yes, I fully agree.
Yeah. And me personally, I'm a believer. I don't think it's impossible.
You're very optimistic.
We can learn each other. Like, why are we ignoring that? Why are we ignoring that we're all human beings and there's a way to connect? Like, it doesn't mean I'm going to bring it from the way I know things, my own. I'll remember you have existed in a different form of life, in a different time. There has to be a way. I feel there's always a way. Like for me,
And well, maybe that's your role in our family. Maybe. So, and I love I'm always like the realist stroke. Almost pessimist.
I'm a firstborn, so I'm also a realist.
But I love your optimism. I love the optimism, and I'm like, power to you, boy. Please, you do that. Do that. We are looking to you to do this thing, and then you'll be like, oh, she's doing it. Let's join her.
Because
yeah.
I'll try my best, but. I guess
but no
the key is
pressure.
to try.
Yeah, the key is to try.
And
no pressure.
It's not,
and frankly, it's not your burden to carry.
Yes.
It really isn't.
They also have to meet you halfway.
Correct. But if you feel called to do something about it, then don't suppress that either.
True.
Yeah, so balance. All right, so ladies, I want to move us along. Let's talk about friendships and social life. And maybe I'll start by giving my own experience so then we can see if that relates to what you still have in your 20s, because it would be unfair to ask you how has it changed across the generations, But so for me, what I found was when I was in my 20s, I had a lot more friends, and they were very good friends, but our friendships were fairly superficial. It was a lot about going out or talking about men and boys and that sort of thing. They were good friends, and I still value those friendships to date.
Yeah.
But they were a very different kind of friendship. And then as I've progressed in life, and at this point I am at in my life, the circle of friends became way smaller. So I have a very tight-knit, small circle of good friends. Like, these are my, like, ride or die. These are, like, my people, But it's a small group of people who I cherish very deeply. I know some of my friends who are either my age or, like, older generation in their 50s also very much cherish female friendships. I'm not particularly that way. I cherish all my friendships. Like, I have very good friends with, like, good friendships with some men, and then I have very good friendships with some women. And both of those friendships nourish me in different ways. They bring something valuable to my life in different ways. Because sometimes I kind of just want a guy's opinion, frankly, And I want him to be real with me and be like, okay, yeah, you messed up, And then after that, I want to go to the girls and, like, I want us to drink some wine and talk some smack about someone or something, or whatever the case might be. But all this to say that for me, in my current age, I have a much, much smaller group of friends, but they're so dear to me. They're so special to me. They've seen me through many things, which is very different to what it was like when I was in my 20s. So I don't know about you guys. What are friendships like in this day and age? And, and also you guys are all about technology. Like, WhatsApping is a valid form of communication, even if, like, for us guys, we didn't have that stuff when I was in my 20s. So we had to be intentional about actually seeing each other, visiting each other, writing each other. What's it like now? Let me start here. No, okay.
I think for me, I relate with that. I think it just happened earlier. Like, I had very many friends in high school. And then I think maybe because of my specific situation, I moved abroad to study.
Yeah, that too.
So over time, your circles get smaller and smaller, and everyone also develops their own lives. Some people also go abroad. So you have to also just be intentional, which is why I like the WhatsApp and the FaceTimes, because now you have to be intentional about having a call and not just texting, because texting, you can get distracted throughout your day. You're having one conversation over a week. So it's not really, you don't have that connection as much. I will say, yeah, my circle has definitely gotten a lot smaller.
Okay.
But I think I would frame it like there's many circles, like the earth, like the earth's core. So there's the core, then the mantle,
100%.
and then,
Yes.
So that's how I would kind of frame it. I do think maybe where I am right now, my male friendships are not as concrete. Yes, I will always ask a guy for their perspective, but having male friends always goes down a bad path. right now with where things are. I think it just doesn't end up working.
Okay.
Unless I have someone who's maybe like a little bit older, maybe in Wambui's age or even 30s, who I can actually, like, they can give me solid advice. Yeah, that's my take.
And now that you say that, if I think about, I don't have like that many male friends, but like the two people who are like very close, they're both older than me. And at some point, we had to have the discussion and make the decision like, okay, this is friendship. Like, let's not get it complicated. This is friendship. And then we moved along from there. So I do understand what you're saying. Yeah. That it can get messy and complicated.
Especially people in my age group. I'm like, you can be acquaintances. Yeah. You're like on the outside.
Yes. I also really like that, the earth, because you're right. Even in my own life right now, there's a core. So these are my, like, those people I was describing, they're at my core, and they're very few. Yeah. And then now you've got, your acquaintances, you've got, like, then the circle grows and people know you differently. And then, but there's that, your core people. Yeah. And your mom has a very good core group of girlfriends who I've seen them, like when your granddad passed away, they really came through for our family. Like, I've seen them in every important function we've had. Yeah. Like when your brothers were going through the rites of passage. So now I even know them because they're such a core group for your mom. Yeah. So, there's that as well. What's your experience?
I feel like almost similar, but like for me, I feel like my sense of friendship has been very interesting and unique. And when I start to reflect with it, it's something I really have sat with to see, okay, my friends, who are my friends? And I have very specific, and it's gone through like my life journey. And there's just that one person I met along the way. We're still friends till this day. Then another one comes along and they touch a spot and like we really connect no matter what happens. We move along. And like that has been the way things have been. I can easily connect with people, but for me to connect to a point of the deep trust is not something that would easily happen. Yeah. Or like to the point where I'm even like saying, let's do this, let's go. It just doesn't easily happen. And now the ones that are really close to me, they're all abroad. But we literally, those are the people where like, even abroad, we plan dates online.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like we live and dress up, buy each other food, and have a full on, and we just talk if there's anything where those people have held me down. Like I know this specifically one. She literally, if I'm going through something and I'm there, like I will have to laugh. Like and that laughter is so genuine that I'm just like, damn, like you really relieve my pain. Like you allow it to dissipate. And it's such a blessing. But especially now when I, like with guys, similar with Nikki, I feel, in fact, it's actually something I discussed with one of my friends. I was like, why is it this whole friendships with guys? It's easy. I feel like women can be friends with guys easily, but I feel like many a times the guy friendships tend to become something else, and you're just like, damn.
No, I have to cut you off.
No, I have to like,
you guys.
Like, we can't be friends anymore.
You're like, you guys, there's even gentleness. I just have to cut you off. I'm like,
it's like, bye.
How do you go from friends to cut off? There's no in between.
There's the door.
Why?
Right,
And it's
right,
like,
right.
no disrespect, but like, there's no genuineness there then. I can't really come to you and have that sense of friendship with you. But I don't know, it's interesting. Like, for me as a woman, I feel when I'm a friend with a guy, like I'm a friend to the guy, like I'm a friend to...
There's no other agenda.
Yeah, but that's not been easy at all.
The reverse is not true.
It's not true. So it's just not really been a thing.
That is so interesting because I find that to be very different to when I was your age. Yeah, I had such good male friends. Not just me. Like I'm thinking even like my sister, like we grew up with Auntie Mary's daughters, like my cousins. We all really had, not that they would not have crushes on us, but it was something we could very easily...
It's my story.
Yeah, you might not even have to even discuss it. You kind of just know, like, But we really had such good male friends who would take good care of us when we went out, who would, they were like our people when we went clubbing. They'd make sure we were okay. They would make sure we got home safe. They would, when there were guys trying to like get with us, there'd be the people who are like, is this a problem or are you okay, So... we had really good male friends when I was your age. Yeah. I mean, as many of them now, I very loosely keep in touch with them, or if it's like we bump into each other. As I said, the circle has become much smaller. But even like one of the guys who's my really, really good friend is from like my 20s. Wow. It's like someone I knew growing from up and then. To date. And he moved on with his life and he's married and children and everything. But somehow, and we don't meet all the time, even if we meet like once or twice a year, but it'll be like 6-hour conversation. And so that... for sure, I don't know if I can speak for everyone, but I feel like us guys, and if I think of all the girls in my circle when I was your age, we just had a bunch of really good guy friends who, they might have liked us, but that came secondary too. So that's definitely a difference. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, let's also talk about, now that we've talked about, so we've already talked about female friendships. One thing I wanted to say though is in terms of my friendships, one thing that has helped me reconcile, because previously I used to get so hung up about, that person was such a good friend. I can't believe we didn't keep in touch. I can't believe we didn't really, And then I came to kind of understand that people, including friends, come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And so even now to date, I do not, if someone came into my life for just a season, I blessed them for that season. It was valid. They brought something good into my life.
Yeah.
The fact that now we're not as good friends does not take away anything from what we shared at that time. So that has really helped me like reconcile with my friendships as well. But I want to move us along to relationships and love, because you all started it, talking here about guys who want you and everything. Let's talk about that. And especially in the context of technology and social media and online dating and all these things that like I did not have when I was your age. I think mobile phones started coming in when I was early 20s, so maybe your age, or like maybe I was 2021. That's when mobile phones started coming in. So we didn't have, let alone smartphones. Like, you know, those are just like the basic phones. And then now over time, it's like smartphones and with all the apps and with everything. What is that like for you guys in contrast to what it was like for me when I was your age trying to date and everything?
I feel like for me, it's hard to build genuine connections, especially if you're meeting someone online, specifically online dating, because I feel like a lot of people look at it as online shopping. Like, oh, he looks good. Swipe right. He looks not that good. Swipe left. So I feel like it defeats the purpose of actually getting to know someone. And then I feel like people's standards are ridiculously high because of that.
Yes.
So, I mean, you could have high standards, but they have to be
Realistic.
realistic and reasonable. So I just feel like building genuine connections is very, very hard.
Yeah.
Especially because I moved to the Netherlands and I can tell you for a fact, people do not date unless they meet you online.
Really?
Or by chance you were friends in uni or you were friends at work, but no one will come to you at a club and start flirting with you or anything like that. Or like, hey, girl, you look good. Nothing. It's like they will stare at you awkwardly, like just stare at you in the club and then just walk off and move on. But if then the next day you see them on Tinder, they've swiped right. You're like, what? Or whatever dating app.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, I think dating apps are a scam.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. Yeah. And then also a lot of people in our age are finding it hard to commit.
I think commit and connect,
And
right?
connect, yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's fears from maybe seeing parents struggle with their relationships. I feel like a lot of Gen X parents really struggled with relationships. I feel like that's where divorce started, really. And then when I look at millennials, I feel like millennials were the first ones to really say, you know what, if I don't find a guy who meets my boxes, I'm just gonna be single.
I'm gonna chill.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Are you talking
chill.
about me?
And even if, it's like I'm gonna do things at my pace.
Yeah.
If I'm in my 30s, whether or not I have a relationship or kids, it's up to me.
Yeah.
And then that just tripled for us, and we're like, well, relationships are also a scam. I feel like a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
So it's hard to build connections because everyone is kind of fearful that it won't last anyways. And I think they also don't take in, maybe it could be for a season or, maybe this is something you can build and work on.
Yeah.
And even if challenges come, you can still work through it.
Yeah. Wambui, I'll come to you in a minute, but I want to ask something in relation to that, because I feel, and I completely agree with everything you're saying, but I also feel at the heart of us as humans, we are built for like companionship and deep connection. So if your generation is at this point of like relationships are a scam, and I don't blame them, honestly, I do not. Like, because seriously, what examples have we been showing them? So, but if they're like that, then how does that translate in terms of feeling that need of companionship and deep connection? How does that, what does that look like in practical terms?
I feel like they're connections, but they're not deep. So you'd rather have, a lot of people would say, I'd rather have multiple connections with different people and get different things from each person
people, yes,
than commit to one person.
Okay.
Because
Got it.
there's no way it will last. I think that's how a lot of people think in my generation.
Yeah.
Which sucks, especially if you're someone who kind of wants
You want
a
that
deep connection and you're not for the shallowness.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that would be hard if you're the kind of person who's looking for deep connection and then it's like everyone who's like in your age group or eligible is thinking in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you never know. Somebody might see you on this podcast is all I'm saying.
Ooh. You better have good intentions.
You better have. And she's my niece. I will know where to find you.
Yes.
Do not play with this girl.
The bar is high.
Very high. Please, we have set it so high. Very high indeed. In fact, she's priceless, but you know, yes. Wambui, tell me.
I feel like in this generation right now, but I feel like it's kind of slowly coming back, but like understanding love.
Okay.
And in relation to the commitment, I think people think love is, you know, it needs to just work for me. But you're actually with a whole individual, a whole different individual that you're choosing to live a life with, to love and to respect and to be a part of. That will definitely come with clashes. And I think many people, the moment a clash that feels too deep, yani the one that opens their wound, they run. And
do you feel it's just your generation or you're speaking generally for humans? Do you feel like it's more with your generation?
I feel like it's been played out differently in different generations. Because I feel like in Gen X, they have gone through that pain, but they remembered, tulenda kwa Mungu kwa altar. You know, then they stay together.
Kasema before friends and family.
And it will get toxic, but they stay.
Yeah. Which is maybe not a good thing also.
Exactly.
We can talk about that
there's
too,
that
right?
Other thing.
Yes.
But many of them who now I've seen going through like therapy together or finding ways to heal together.
Gen X?
Imagine.
There's a willingness to work through it.
Yeah.
Gen X?
Gen X.
Are you sure they're not millennials?
I think they're millennials.
Me too.
I got my receipts. Okay, I'm kidding.
Girl. Sorry. Carry on.
But like, because of their willingness and sticking together for that long, I feel like for them, they now have a clearer understanding.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is and it works so beautifully.
Yeah.
And like for me, personally, like for me, I'm such a lover girl. Like I love love. I see people with ease, and especially now, I've remembered to release fault. Like fault is something I've learned better, especially in my like when 26 now 27. Whereas I think people easily put fault onto people when they do something, but it's happened together. It's happened around you. This person, maybe that it's their own triggers. It doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean that you have to continue. Maybe this person actually, they need time off. They need time to reflect and heal and all
Or they need
that.
someone else.
Or they need someone else. Maybe
Yeah.
you're just not,
Your
your parts are not together.
Yeah.
And that's just the simplicity of it all. But I know, but it's also painful. It's painful. People are not willing to break in the right ways. I think that also is another thing in relationships now. Especially, I think we also have so much knowledge. And knowledge also has its cons.
Double-edged sword.
So, like we said, standards. Our standards now are like high. But by the time we're allowing someone to really be themselves, to be able to meet those standards, remembering someone can grow to meet the standards. We're not giving room. We're not giving space. And I think it's important sometimes to see, okay, because someone can come and they have such pure genuine intentions, but they're just not there. But they can actually get there. They can have that will to get there. It's possible. So I think we don't look at many options. We've become more boxy. We become more guarded. But I personally think people need to create more space, create more room, especially within themselves. Start there, because then I will tell them, by the way, it's okay to try. Let's just see here. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, it really works, and let it work. And remember, this person is an individual within themselves. And when you clash, talk about it.
So there's something you said about someone having the will to grow. I think that is important in the sense of the will to grow and do the work, because I know a lot of women who have married potential. So they come, and at that point, they're clearly not, they're not it, they're not ready, they're not all of these things. Then you make justification and rationalization for it, because this person has potential, I can see their potential.
Yeah.
And you suffer, and suffer greatly for many years. Because, what you rightly said, the person has to have the will to also grow, to do the work, to heal, to do everything that is required. Yeah. You can see it in them. You can see their potential for that.
Yeah.
But if they don't have the will or the readiness, there's nothing you can do. Yes, it'll just be a problem, because you cannot bring it out of them. The person has to be at that point where they have the will to do these things, Yeah. But I do agree with you that, maybe the younger generations, and maybe even to an extent my generation, we do need to create more space for people to grow. I do feel like there's also a lot of, it's not working immediately. And so, out the door, I should say that, like, it is not. And whereas I feel like the Gen X, there was a lot more, okay, let's try and make this work. That too is a double-edged sword, because I think there are people who've stayed in bad toxic relationships that they shouldn't have stayed in. Yeah, but because of this thing of kuvumilia, kwanza that kuvumilia culture. Me, girls, please. Let me just say it on camera. I'm so against that kuvumilia culture. Women have literally died vumiliaring in abusive relationships and stuff like that. So I'm not for that extreme of everything is kuvumilia, especially when it's toxic and abusive and all these things. But I think also the younger generation are also kind of maybe giving up too quickly. Yeah. And not, like there's no space.
Can't even blame them.
Yes. No, there's like...
I think it's because of social media. Like everything looks like the grass is greener on the other side.
Correct.
But you didn't take the time to water the grass that was there.
Thank you. Hey, and you girls are wise how.
Yes, ma'am.
Please see our family genes. You are so right. There's that, but also people don't realize that social media is not reality.
It's a facade. Yeah,
it's a facade. True. So you see, maybe there's this couple who are always online publicly, and when they're public, they're like this and like. But you don't know what happens behind closed doors. So now you go into your relationship like, this is what I want. This is the standard I want. But it's not the reality of the situation, you know?
Forgetting they're human. They will clash whether they like it or not.
Exactly.
And it's how they deal with that.
Exactly.
And like also that whole love language thing, like your partner, even friendships. It's for people, if you're with someone in a relationship, any form of relationship, that intentionality is so key. Yeah, because if my love language is words of affirmation, then if you're my partner or my friend, you'll have this way of, when I'm dealing with her, and also for me, my friendships are very individual. Like, it's very, we can meet even all together, but my friendship with this person is so separate to the next because of this specific things, and I present myself to them with how I've understood they appreciate. And I allow them, like we allow each other to make mistakes, but the way we actually are there for each other, we don't put each other down. And something I know I really now stand by is to speak life to people.
That is so important.
Yeah.
And to yourself.
And to myself.
Yes.
Hey, I have really grown to love myself.
Yes.
Like, I think the first time I sang myself a love song was the time. I'm like, wait, why am I always singing this song thinking of somebody outside of myself? And then when I cried away, I was like, whoa, like this is actually real love. Like for real.
Yeah.
And I think that's love. And I think maybe also finding it here. Maybe people need to take some time. But it doesn't have to be too much time. But also there's some people who come into your life who will even push you to see these things. Yeah. And to know the difference. Oh my God. Another thing is to know the difference in the wounds people open. Yeah. Are they opening it up for you to understand yourself better? And they're still there to hold you and tell you, you've got this? Or are they opening them and then wanting you to just get stuck there and rip even more.
Yeah.
Oh, are they the ones even creating new wounds when already you have wounds?
Yeah.
Those are such important things.
Yeah. And sometimes maybe their reason is to come and open the wound for you to do the work of healing. Maybe they don't need to be. If you're like, you're opening this wound and I see you're just trying to aggravate me, I can make a decision to cut you off or have firm boundaries with you.
Yeah.
But then thank you. I always say everyone who comes into my life is a teacher.
Yeah.
You know, people, and especially the people who've wounded me the most, have been my greatest teachers because they've taught me something either about myself or about life or about how I handle situations or how I interact with other human beings. So of course, at that point of heart, I'm not this zen about it. I cannot believe, do you not know? But then once I get over that initial like hurt and anger and disappointment, and I look back and I'm always like, thank you for being a good teacher because you've made me learn ABCD about myself, right?
Oh, Auntie, that's beautiful because that just shows how you see the polarities. You understand that if it's met with this weight on this side, that means it exists in a similar weight in this side. It's just like good and bad or God and devil.
Yeah.
It's like to know God, then you know the devil.
Yeah. And I guess also, I mean, and another
Like
thing.
that depth.
Sorry?
Sorry, just that depth.
Yes, I agree. But then also another thing for me is and all these things have come with age, right? Like I'm not pretending to have known these things at your age. I really didn't. But one other thing that's been very helpful for me in like my relationships, and by relationships, I mean also my friendships, or even relationships with family, family relationships, is understanding that very often the emotion someone brings out is not of that moment. It's a trigger from somewhere. So like, sometimes you can just maybe like something very minor and then maybe someone blows up or like there's some confrontation and you're like,
Yeah.
If you really interrogate it, it's like, this is actually not of this moment. This reaction was because I triggered something in you. I triggered a wound, something you have in you. Mm-hmm. And then this is just a manifestation of that. I just happen to be on the receiving end, right? And I mean, that's not to say that I won't react also. Sometimes I'll also react back. But very often I can, like either I can react or I can just like remove myself from that situation and be like, this is not actually about me and I'll not make it about me because... But all those things I have also learned with age. I did not have these things as I was growing up. In fact, the contrary, I was just a fireball, burning everything in my path. And dare you cross me the wrong way, you will know. But I do want to ask another question about relationships. What are your... Okay, I think we've kind of already talked about opinions on marriage. I feel like... Or do you have specific opinions on like marriage?
I don't know. I think I slightly battled with signing the paper and having to be committed for life. Because if it does go wrong, divorces are messy. Like I think you want to go in there obviously not expecting that to happen. But, it's also like thinking about, thinking about maybe this person was supposed to be for a long season, So... I don't know if I would necessarily see the conventional way of marriage applying to our generation. I also lived in the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands, a lot of them are just living in partnerships.
They're just like partners.
Exactly, and they're very happy. Never signed a paper, but everything is just with them, and they go about life like that. So I think maybe my mind opened up a bit more to that because of seeing that or being exposed to that. But I would still love to have, the dream of the white picket fence and the family and the kids.
Do you guys want weddings? Because I have so much fabric of dresses that needs to be done up for weddings and dowry ceremonies, and no one is having a wedding.
But the weirdest thing, I've never, even growing up, I've never pictured my wedding.
Really?
I've never, a lot of them, I've pictured the family. The husband, the kids, building a house together. Never imagined my wedding. I don't know why. Like,
could you give us a party maybe just for us to wear nice dresses?
Yeah, of course. We'll have a party. Yeah, for sure.
We can work with that.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you said something and it's very interesting. So I don't know if I necessarily picked this up from like my time when I lived in Australia. I think it's for a very long time though I've thought about this. For me, what is more important is, and this relates to what you're saying about what you observed in the Netherlands. For me, what has always been important is the mutual commitment, the love we share, the respect for each other, etc., right? Signing any kind of paper or even doing any kind of ceremony, as much as I'm teasing you guys about it, is so secondary. Like, for me, I'm like, is it better if I have someone, we've signed some legal paper and we call each other husband and wife, but we treat each other so poorly? And then there's this couple here, they've never signed anything, they've never done any ceremony, they don't wear any rings, but they love each other deeply, they respect each other, there's mutual commitment, there's mutual care for each other. Which is a better scenario? I mean, for me, I'd rather not have any paper, but we have this, right? So even like for a long time, that is the model. Like, I'm not opposed to signing a paper or whatever necessarily, but I'm just like, to me, that is so secondary.
Exactly.
What matters to me is what's the quality of our relationship. That's the thing that counts. But I want to hear your opinions on marriage.
I think just know if it's for you before doing it. And if it's for you, it's for you. Do it, but embrace it. Be fully in, and
Not
both
one
you and
foot
your
in.
partner.
Yes, not one foot in.
and one
Because that's
foot out.
another problem. Yeah.
Be fully in and go for it, because it's beautiful. I've had people say how marriage is so beautiful, and they've had
Where are
such a
they?
beautiful...
I want them on this podcast because
You
I don't
know?
know any such people.
I'm gonna send them your way.
Please do. I mean, well, my parents have been married for like 40-something years and they look pretty cute, but I've never had an actual conversation with them about it.
Oh, you should, maybe.
I should.
Maybe there's something in there. But yeah, I think it can work. It can be really beautiful.
Yeah.
It can be the thing that it was created to be.
Yeah. Even for your generation, you feel?
Yeah, it's possible. Auntie, you know me and possibilities.
I know. The ever optimist. I love that about you. It's good. You're here to balance.
It's the
You know that you're sitting on that side. It's like you're balancing this.
But I also get to learn from that, because it reminds me, like, to also remember there's more to it than just it's possible. So personally for me, I think if you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
If you don't,
Don't.
and live your life. The key thing, live your life. You only have this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I agree. It's like, what I hate about society is this imposition on people. It's like, if it's for you, it's for you. Do it well, and we bless you, and we'll come dressed up and everything. If it's not for you, it's okay. It's
Na
just...
sherehe ni mingi. See only wedding.
Exactly.
But what I like about our generation is that it's not an obligation. I feel like you guys still had a little bit of it being a lot of it being an obligation.
I have stories I could tell you about things I have been told.
Yeah.
Yes.
But weirdly, I still think I've heard a lot of my older cousins still, like, the parents still give that. Are you ready to? But it's more because they want to know if that's what you see in your future.
Yes.
Not that we're going to look at you any different if you don't get to that point.
Yeah.
So I like that people, if they do get to that point, they're being very intentional about it, and they're also taking the time to have the communication, have the right foundation before actually taking that next step.
Yeah. I fully, wholly and I love it so much for your generation that you don't feel the kind of pressure we felt, because we really did. Like, and I feel it's even worse if you're a woman, but I mean, I don't know, maybe guys feel the same way. Like, if you were just like, I've been told so many things, like, about the fact that I was unmarried at a particular time. The good thing, at some point, I think when you get to your late 30s, they just give up on you. They're just like, now this one, okay, let's give the rest pressure, you know? But for several years, to a point where at some point I contemplated stopping to come for family functions, because I was just sick of it. I was sick of all this negativity always my way. And I'm just like, I don't trouble any of you about your lives.
Yeah.
How about you just let me live my life, you know? But I found, so I'd find like polite ways to be like, oh, God's timing is always best. Just keep praying. Or now even I changed the tables on them, and when they'd ask me something, I'm like, are you praying for me? Do you pray for me to get up? If you don't, then don't ask me about it,
Yeah.
But it was exhausting. At some point, it was so exhausting, like dealing with all that. Because I'm just like, I'm out here, I'm living my best life. I love my life. I have a good life. But you're every time trying to make me feel like there's something wrong with my life. Wow. And then I have to deal with all that negativity. So I love it if you guys don't have that kind of like pressure, that kind of pressure that we did. Because I agree, maybe it's for you, maybe it's not for you. Just like live your life and live your life well, you know? So yeah, but I'm curious to know what do you consider like an ideal partner? What would an ideal life partner look like?
An ideal life partner, I guess, is someone who's willing to, first of all, be their authentic self with you.
I can say that about
to
you.
accept you as you are too, in your authenticity. Yeah, I feel like that for me is the ideal. Because as long as there's that authenticity, then you can even know, but like, is this what, are we... Does this make sense? And you can actually live each other with peace. Rather than when it's just like, hey, I like the way he smells, the way he dresses, the way he talks, hey, the way he said that,
Yeah, all the superficial stuff which won't last.
Yeah, it's like I'm just seeking pleasure. That always doesn't end well.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel as long as it's that authenticity and you accept the other person as they are.
Yeah.
But it can work.
Okay, so authenticity is key for you.
Yeah.
I get out my checklist.
Yes. And look directly at your camera.
No, for me, it's just, I feel like there's a lot of foundational things that I would require in a relationship. I feel like we have to understand our ways of communicating. Like, we might not have the same way, but they should at least be compatible, and we should be understanding each other in that way. Just communication, trust, loyalty is a really big one. Yep. And also, like, having those conversations early on. I need someone who's able to have those conversations very early on and not put on a front of like, maybe I'm not ready. Then I'll let you be.
Exactly.
And maybe if I'm ready when you're ready, and
can find each other aligns,
we can find each other again.
Yes,
like it's fine. It doesn't have to be
Yes,
right now.
yes.
So I feel like having someone who also is not afraid of having the really hard conversations for me
so important
is something that I would.
So important that the ability, it's centered on communication, but also specifically the ability to have hard conversations and not either shut down or like...
Or shut you down.
Exactly. Shut you down or shut down themselves or like they don't... So important. Because if you're in a lifelong thing together or a long season, whatever we call it, you will have to have hard conversations at various points.
Exactly.
And it's so important to be able to do that.
Yeah. And with that, I feel like I also need someone who is willing to heal. Themselves and for themselves and for us.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
If you're not open on your healing, if you're like mental health is nothing like that, it doesn't exist. It's okay.
Utoke.
Yeah,
we bless you. May you find the right person for you, but I am not it. I fully listen. Your checklist mirrors mine. I hope you won't have to wait as long as I have had to wait. But it's so true. Like someone who's willing to do the work of healing, because otherwise you bring that mess and that trauma into our relationship. If we have children, you're passing on that same mess to our children. So important. And then related to like communication and the ability to have conversation, I think there's something there about like your emotional maturity, right?
Yes.
Because those two things I think are very connected. You'd have to have a particular level of emotional maturity to be able to have difficult conversations. And I think that's why maybe a lot of people, especially in your generation, but I think it cuts across millennials and Gen Zs. I think that's why you'll find a lot of people even ghosting others. Because you just can't have like a conversation about like, this is not working out for me or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
So instead, I'll blue tick you.
Yeah, let me just disappear.
Avoid it and blue tick. And then it's like, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love both. And I think these two are the same things, because to do this, you must have some level of authenticity.
To be honest
to
with
be
yourself. It's
exactly
like,
to be
okay.
really honest with yourself, and these are my wounds. And honesty is very linked with like vulnerability. You know, to do this stuff, you have to be vulnerable, which I think for guys is harder than for women.
Yeah.
I feel, and society doesn't help either.
Yeah.
So, you know, and they are a product of this society or whichever society. So
Yeah.
so yeah, for sure. For sure. Love it. Love the checklist.
Wow.
Please, listeners, if you meet the criteria, particularly of Nikki's checklist,
Yeah.
feel free
She's
to
available.
send us a DM on us Conversations with Kũî. I will vet you first before you can have access
You
to
have
her.
to go through these two.
Yes, exactly. Exactly right. Exactly right. I want to move us along. Maybe one last question on love and relationships before I move us on to womanhood, which I really want us to talk about as well. What's one thing you'd never tolerate in a relationship that you think women have had to accept?
Lack of transparency.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, there's a very big difference, and I feel like a lot of guys don't understand this. There's a difference between honesty and transparency.
Okay.
I don't have to look or ask the right questions or look for the answers for you to just tell me what's going on.
Okay.
That's something for me. I think
Is it a communication thing, or is it a lack of transparency thing? What do you think it is? Is it like a difficulty with like having those hard conversations, or is it just like...
I think it is a communication aspect, because I feel like I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like whatever I feel in the moment, I will say it.
will say.
Even if I'm pissed off at something, I would rather say it then and there. But I'm also understanding if someone is not ready to have that conversation then.
Yeah, but it needs to happen at some point.
But yeah, sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, that's a really big one.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. And especially if you yourself are like a really honest, open person.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'm jumping on that. I would say the same. That sense of safety even for the transparency is so key, because, you know, just to feel even safe when you're saying something as a woman, because, you know, we're such emotional beings. We naturally tend to go there. So we feel deeply quicker. So if there's that sense of safety, it would just really mean so much, because even the guy can just be like, you know, babe, I'm not in that space right now to like really have this conversation.
Yeah.
I value what you said.
Yeah.
Let's actually talk about it
That.
at this time, so I can sit with it and just reflect. I don't want to respond with him in a way that
Like,
I'm being logic or emotional.
Yes.
Hey,
But even to get someone to say that,
wako. Like in your percentage.
Ndogo.
I have never seen one.
I'm like, you know, I don't know, Nikki. Maybe we attract what we think. Because I'm like, Wambui is like, I got receipts, girl. I know these people. I have been on this earth like 15 years longer than you. Where are these people?
Where they at?
All right. Maybe I don't know. Hey, listener, if you're enjoying this conversation that I'm having today with these two young, brilliant women, my nieces, Wambui and Nikki, please stay tuned for the next episode, because we had so much to talk about. This is very characteristic of our family. We talk. We are talkers. We like to talk. But I was also really enjoying this conversation and all the shared wisdom. So we're going to do this in 2 parts. Today was part 1 of this conversation. And next time, it's going to be part 2 of this continued conversation with these 2 amazing young women. Till next time, stay tuned. Bye.